Boom. Okay guys, we should be live. What's up everybody? I saw some people waiting in the queue also, so that's amazing. Welcome to the stream. We have quite some important data dropping again, guys. We have quite some important data dropping once again. Use CPI data in about 29 minutes from here. So this is going to be huge. Some super important data. I'm also checking, just because this is the beginning and a lot of people are still joining. Also, hello guys. I'm just checking if everything is working well from my side also. Just checking on the stream quickly. I think everything should be working. I'm also checking. Yes, everything's working on my side also. Amazing. How are you guys doing, first of all? We go again. Indeed, we are going again with the most important data of the week, because I think this data is even more important than what we saw yesterday with PPI. How are you doing? I'm doing amazing. How are you doing? Klinkt allemaal goed. Amazing, nice to have you, my fellow Dutchman. Yeah, the CPI data will be dropping in 28 minutes. I also saw some interesting tweets about it, so I will be preparing some stuff now, because this is going to be important data. We of course saw the CPI coming in, of the PPI coming in much lower than expected yesterday. That's also why this is going to be very important data, because is the CPI going to be the confirmation that the US inflation is super low, or is that not going to be the case? That is what we are going to look into. Here I have the CPI forecast with the month-over-month forecast and also the year-over-year forecast. And that is everything you do need to know. You do want all of these numbers coming in lower than expected. That's going to be hugely bullish for the markets. And then I'm also expecting a big pump like yesterday after the CPI. Because yesterday after the CPI we actually saw a big pump to the top side. Bro, why don't you answer my comments? Actually, this is I think the first comment coming in the live stream. I don't know if you're talking about the live stream comments or maybe on the update videos. On the update videos, I don't react to all the comments all the time. I'm sorry about that. But in the live stream, this is your first comment coming in. For me, actually. Just 1 second, guys. I will also be posting that I'm live on X. So everybody can be joining in, basically. Everyone that's going to be interested is going to be joining in. And then we will cover some Bitcoin and Ethereum charts before we are going to dive in into the CPI. Let me check it. Boom, boom, boom. Now, how are you guys doing, by the way? How's everybody doing here? Still eat long? Yes, I'm still in my eat long position. I will show it in just a minute. Minutes, come. Today I closed eat long and my profit is $7. It's a profit though. It's better than no profit actually. So you are basically taking the trade not for the longer term Ethereum. I can remember that you are somewhat of a higher leverage trader. Is that true? I saw that in the last stream that you were trading quite high leverage actually. Okay, just dropping a tweet now. Yes, and now we can dive in. Let's talk also about some Bitcoin charts before we are going to dive in the economic data. Let's do that first of all. Because we have quite some interesting Bitcoin charts. My capital is $30 because I'm 15 years old. That's amazing that you are starting so young. I would have loved it for myself too if I started at that age actually. Because I would be much further in life, I think so. But for Bitcoin, we have the Bollinger Bands, like discussed also in the update videos, actually squeezing together at the lowest levels ever. Here the Bollinger Bandwidth. So that means there's not a lot of volatility basically. We have of course a bullish Q4 upcoming. So either way, how the data is going to look like today, for me it does not matter that much for my outlook for Q4, because I do think Q4 is still going to be a bullish period for Bitcoin and crypto. Because basically exactly the same is happening like we've seen before during the Q4 of 2024 and Q4 2023. We saw exactly the same thing happening here with the somewhat of a megaphone, then the bull flag, the breakout, and now it's a falling wedge. So the breakout pattern is different, but the Q4 breakout is going to be the same, I think. Hello Goose. Hello brother, how are you doing? How are you doing? And yeah, of course we have this hidden bullish divergence playing out, like we have been talking about a lot also, which is looking absolutely amazing. It's perfectly playing out basically, so congratulations if you did take a trade on that. Seasonality is going to turn our favor, I do think, personally, because now this is usually the period that Bitcoin is going to start trending higher eventually, maybe some more days of consolidation, but I do think we are getting quite close. Also, I'm still in this Ethereum trading position. I saw a comment about this. This is my 15k Ethereum trading position. I'm still in this, but I also have some limit orders open. Just in case Ethereum is going to drop lower, I have this limit orders open. Just in case we are going to see a bigger drop. And then I do think if you're going to see low Ethereum prices from now on, it's going to be a gift. And I do want to be opening longs. I don't necessarily think this is going to happen, but I'm prepared for basically the market moving both sides. Oh good, I'm bullish for the data this evening, long opened. Okay, amazing. Let's hope so. The PPI clearly indicates that the CPI should also come out lower than expected, but of course the data has been quite off actually. So it could also be a little bit different, of course. But yeah, this is going to be a huge data point actually. And here the forecasts again for the people who did not see the start of the stream. The forecast for the month on month and also the year-on-year inflation. You do want to see all of these numbers coming out lower than expected. And these are the expectations, the forecast. So if we are going to see these numbers coming in lower than expected, yeah, we could definitely see quite a nice bump to the upside, I think. And I will also be opening some shorter term Bitcoin and Ethereum timeframes, because I do think that's nice. Bitcoin, of course, breaking above one of the most important levels, by the way. Don't know if you guys are watching, but Bitcoin is actually looking very good here with breaking through this level. If you could see continuation here, this high is going to be next, basically. But I will be putting some, let me check which chart I will use. Yeah. Here we have Ethereum. I will open a Bitcoin short-term chart here on the 5 minutes. And I will also open an Ethereum chart on the 5 minutes. And then we can look into what the effect of the CPI is going to be. I will take another Ethereum chart. This is a little bit better. Bitcoin's pumping actually. Bitcoin's pumping. First a dump, within minutes a pump will follow. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Let's see about that. Just sending some messages out. Okay. Back to the data. So basically, why I also do think today is going to be so important, because I have been talking about this a lot also in my other live streams from this week. I do think this is basically your last data point before the next FOMC meeting. Next week, we are going to see the next FOMC meeting. And in my opinion, that's going to be an absolutely huge event, because we are going to see the first rate cuts in quite a long time. And we basically have two scenarios. or because of the data today, we are going to see the 50 BPS rate cut probabilities moving higher, because CPI inflation is going to come in lower than expected. Then the 50 BPS probabilities will definitely be coming up. If that's not going to be the case, you will see, for example, the 25 BPS rate cut probabilities coming up a bit, or the chance of no rate cut. But that's not very realistic to me, because I do think the Fed will be cutting rates, because we do know that the US labor market is not looking that good, because we have seen some data coming in lately that the US labor market is looking very weak. Like Kobayashi is stating here, we have a lot less jobs added to the US labor market, to the US economy basically, than what was expected, because the data got revised a lot lower. And we saw the PPI coming in negative even, PPI month over month. The unemployment rate is moving higher. So yeah, we have a lot of indications that the US labor market is very weak, that inflation is cooling down, and that gives the Fed some room to be cutting rates. So yeah. The only thing is, if CPI is going to come in very low, we could see maybe even a bigger rate cut of, for example, 50 BPS, and that could definitely be pushing the prices even higher. So be aware of that. That's basically everything you need to know. We are pumping now. We are starting to pump already. Before the CPI data is coming out, could also be quite a big trap here. Oh. You mess with Solana at all, definitely. Definitely, I love Solana. Some people say the Fed will pivot after the rate cut, meaning they will drop the prices lower so they can buy cheap. Your opinion? And I don't think that the Fed is interested into dropping the price to buy themselves. I don't know if that's what you mean. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I do think the Fed could pivot, actually, after the rate cut, but I do think they will pivot in a much more bullish way for risk assets like Ethereum altcoins. So, it's quite a large pump to the top side now. We are moving. Also Ethereum here, guys. I don't know, does somebody know something? I don't know. Let's also check some news coming out, maybe. I will... I have the low time frame charts here, so I will get an X news page here also, so we can see all of the news coming in. Buy the rumor again. Yesterday was the same, but no sell the news. We will see for today. Yeah, we will see. Let me check. Sol is also pumping, amazing. Yeah, Ethereum and Bitcoin also pumping quite hard, actually. Insane. I'm just checking to see if some news is coming in which is driving the price higher, but that's actually not the case yet. I don't see data coming out which is very bullish or something. But I don't know. Maybe the market knows something. Oh, we are coming down now. Also, we are starting to come down. Starting to come down. But yeah, be careful with leverage in these situations. Many people have been traumatized by those FOMC meetings because the past years too many times it was bad news. Bad news is dump. Good news is dump. And that suppresses the euphoria phase emo. Could be, but yeah, if it's truly going to be very good news, the market will eventually be heading higher, I think. You have to do this more often live. Yeah, you think so? I have been live streaming this. I think this is the third live stream this week and my fourth so far. Yeah, I definitely will be doing so. But of course, there also need to be somewhat of an event to start live streaming, because there also needs to be somewhat of interest in the live stream itself. And maybe you guys also have ideas of what you do like to see in the next live streams, or just something which is not related to economic data. Some ideas about that. Just drop it in the comments also if you do want to see more lives. I can think of doing so, because I do like it a lot to live stream here. Yeah, quite. We are dumping now, so yeah, this is a weird price action. That's why you should always be careful. It's a prank. The price action, you mean? It seems like it's a prank. The price action, indeed, it's coming down. But yeah, no news or something is coming out. So yeah, it's basically the new dump. The news will dump the market. Yeah, the thing is with the CPI, I don't want to be like the bringer of bad news here, but ultimately after the last 4 CPI prints, we saw a dump. I must say the last few CPI prints were not very bullish for the markets. And if we are going to see a bullish CPI print, we could still be pumping, but just also keep this data in mind. So basically, the thing is, you just want to be careful with trading leverage so close to US economic data. I would never be doing so. Definitely not high leverage trades. I'm definitely enjoying the live streams. I do watch it to just watch it. Amazing. Amazing. So it doesn't really matter for you if it's about economic data, for example. Yeah, we could also be some. We could also do some other things, probably. But yeah, forecast again for the people that don't know yet. You do want to see the CPI coming in lower than expected. Then all of these numbers, the month-on-month and the year-on-year. That's going to be super important. Let's check if we are getting some news out or something. Hey, Solana just pumped. Already made 400 USD. Amazing, brother. Very happy for you. Very happy for you. Amazing. I think, did I also saw you in the VIP group? I don't know. Because for the guys that don't know yet, I still have, for example, this Ethereum trade open. I was just discussing this trade. If you do want to get all of the updates about this Ethereum trading position, you can also, I have to log in into Telegram again. That's very annoying actually. But you can basically join my private Telegram group in the link on this live stream here. Just check out this link and then you can join the private Telegram group if you're getting interested in that. And there I will be sharing a lot more updates about my trades. Also, just a little bit faster than I can be doing on live and also on YouTube videos and on X. I don't know where most of you guys are following me, actually. But yeah, just make sure to check it out. We're getting close to the data. We are getting close to the data. 13 minutes before the CPI data is going to come out. 13 minutes, guys. Probably the most important data we've seen in quite a while here. Some ECB news is coming out. Not that important, I think. What do you think will happen? CPI above or below? It's hard to predict because the data has been very off, basically. But yeah, personally, I do think the CPI could be coming in lower than expected because the PPI did the same. And PPI is somewhat of your first preview in the CPI. So it would be very weird if the CPI is going to come out very high. But yeah, of course, it could always be the case. So it's very hard to predict, actually. But yeah, the PPI was looking bullish. ECB raised inflation outlook. Okay, so the European Central Bank thinks more inflation is coming. No rate cuts for the European Central Bank. I will also be doing a post on that on Twitter, actually. But yeah, it was expected. Do you have to pay? Do you have to pay to get into the VIP Telegram? You don't have to directly pay. You can sign up with a VX account, and then you have to deposit a minimum of $100. That's the only thing. But it's not directly paid. You could also take that $100 off the exchange if you do want to. It's all up to yourself. But we only want active traders, so that's why we do have that that rule basically to join. ECB statement. So the European Central Bank is not cutting rates. Interesting. TradePA, what's up, brother? What's up, brother? How are you doing? Haven't seen you in a long while, actually. In quite a while. How are you doing? Smash up those likes. Yeah, that would be amazing, guys. Smash up that like button. Hi, I'm from Turkey. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. I'm long 10x leverage. Okay. Quite some high leverage here. Let's see. I hope it will be playing out nicely. Nice background music. Yeah. It's from my neighbor, actually. From my neighbor downstairs. He plays a lot of music. So yeah, sometimes, guys, if you do hear some background music in the stream, just know it's my neighbor. Back to the charts. Dumping. We are dumping back again. So this was kind of a weird pump, actually not based on something, to be fair. No, I'm not from Ukraine, actually. No. I'm not from Ukraine. It would be weird to see CPI higher than expected with the PPI from yesterday. Yeah, it would be very weird actually. It would be very weird. Can we open longs? Personally, I won't do so just before economic data. I would not be doing so. It was a nice song. It was definitely it's definitely nice music always. CPI came in at 2.8. Gent, Belgium, I think. Holland, yeah, Holland represent. Total 3 pumping, really, sir? That's amazing. Let me check it out. Total 3. Hey, are you from the Netherlands? Yes, I am from the Netherlands. Nice to meet you, Bart. Okay, 9 minutes before the CPI data is going to drop, guys. So it's going to get interesting now. It's going to be hugely important data. Yeah, total 3 is actually on a super important level here. It's going to break out of this massive cup and handle pattern over like the last 4 years here. So yeah, this looks like it's going to explode quite soon actually. Guys, just for the people who just joined, I will show you, of course, what to expect here. Let's go back to my account, to the forecast. Was looking forward to your live this morning, Goose. Amazing, Crypto King. Nice to have you back. I remember you from the last streams. Amazing, brother. Let's look. Here I had the forecast. Here are the CPI forecasts for the month-on-month and the year-on-year. So you do want to see the numbers coming in lower than what we are seeing here. Do you want to see all the numbers coming in lower? That would be very bullish. I was wiped on my WLFI long. Oh, that's not very nice. Check virus coin. I can be checking some coins later after the economic data is going to come out. I will do so later. Just keep watching the stream, and if we had the US economic data and just have seen the market reaction, then we can dive into some altcoins and other stuff. No problem. I'm long. Okay, brother. You're very bullish, I see. But yeah, data could be coming out any minute now. 7 minutes. 7 minutes still. Market is not... Yes. It's still up. It's still up from the pump. Ethereum is actually recovering faster than Bitcoin now. But it's on the 5 minutes. So yeah, it's the 5 minute chart. So my Ethereum trade is actually in one of the biggest profits I've seen so far. So that's nice. It's not that much of a big trade, but it's nice. All profits are welcome. And like I said, guys, if you do want updates about that Ethereum trade, just join the VIP group also. The rate cut probabilities, let's check into that. Because for the people who did miss that, the data of today is going to be super important for the fact if you're going to see the 50 BPS rate cut probability spike or not. Because this spiking is probably one of your only truly bullish catalysts. I would love you to do some TA on Zeus after we get this data. Of course, brother, we can look into it later. Charlie Kirk, yeah, very, very unfortunate what happened with him. Very bad news. Did you expect September to end green and us having a short bull run? September could be ending green. It could be doing so. But I do think the best price action is going to follow in October, November, to be fair. Would you get out of ETH trade if the data comes out bad? It depends on your leverage. Like for example, I will not be closing my Ethereum trade. I'm not scared to take it into the negative because, yeah, me personally, I've like a 5x leverage trade open, so it doesn't matter that much to me, or it's a 3x leverage actually. So yeah, I can go a little into the negative. If you have like a 100x leverage trade open, yeah, then maybe I would get out of the trades before it gets bad, and if the data comes out badly. But we will know in 5 minutes because the CPI data is going to drop in 5 minutes. It's so important because the US labor market is weakening. The PPI data of yesterday came out much lower than expected. So the inflation is cooling off, US labor market is weak. That is going to be an amazing storm basically for the Federal Reserve to be cutting rates, and maybe even with 50 BPS. That is going to be something very important to watch in the next few minutes basically. I will be going back to the news. Why not set a stop loss in profit, then re-enter at a better price? Yeah, I'm not really that kind of a trader. I'm more of a swing trader myself. So I'm truly looking for like big market movements. And I do think Ethereum is going to make a big move in this last phase of the cycle. A very big move actually, because it usually tends to do so in Q4, in that last stage of the post-halving year. And that's what I still believe in. So I want to get on that big trade. And for example, if I'm going to close in profit, and then re-enter at a better price, you never know if you can be re-entering at a better price. So I would not mind it to be a little bit in the negative to eventually ride it up much higher, because I don't think this trade will be getting liquidated. Of course, it could happen. I'm not a perfect trader, but I do think so. But I do think there's not a high likelihood that this is going to get liquidated at the $3,400 level, and it will never happen, because I'm also going to be I will also be going double down on my trade if we are going to get close to the liquidation level. My entry price is about $4,300 for my first trade, and I also have those limit orders open. So yeah, I don't like it to go all in basically. If weak seasonality is still going to hit later in September here, then I'm going to be prepared. Okay, but we have the data coming out almost here. We are getting quite close now. And we'll be setting this up next to this, and then also the price action here. Perfect. Oh, we are pumping. Ethereum is actually pumping again. Ethereum is actually pumping again. Amazing. So, big pump. We are moving to that $4,500 level actually. So, I guess my trade is also doing well. It's moving up. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Data. CPI dropping in 3 minutes. 3 minutes, guys. Okay, it's not working. August CPI preview. Medium forecasts. Not that interesting actually. BlackRock is dumping Bitcoin of Ethereum, but this is fake news. This is not dumping Bitcoin. This is just sending it to another address. So don't believe everything you see, please. Is everything still alive, guys? Because I'm seeing some comments coming in from YouTube themselves. 2 minutes before the CPI. USDT crashing. Amazing. That's amazing. One of the most important charts actually. I would just keep on the price action and the news now, because we are getting very close now. Here we go. Here we go, guys. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, all good? Okay, perfect. Let's go back. 1 minute. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. For the CPI. Sorry that I'm screaming for the people with headphones. Oh, Ethereum still pumping. We could see a huge pump as this data is going to come out. Good. Okay, it should be coming out any moment now. I need to take the kids from school just now. Oh shit. That's not a great moment. It should be coming out any moment now. Any moment. I will also be tweeting it. Almost. Please, some positive data. Please, please, please. Okay, it should be coming out now. It should be coming out now. Ooh, US inflation rises. It's coming out higher than expected. It's coming out higher than expected. Or exactly like predicted. Let me check. Oh, it's coming out exactly like predicted, actually. It's coming out exactly like predicted. Nothing changed. It's 2.9%. It was exactly like predicted. Ooh, and a big dump. A big dump. Okay. Okay. That's not very nice. Oh my god. Yeah, this is a huge dump. Insane. Insane. I'm also tweeting this now. Ooh, this is not looking amazing. But you're actually, it's just like expectations. So I do think this is somewhat of an overreaction from the market, guys. So don't panic. Don't panic. This is somewhat of an overreaction. I do think so. Because it did come out exactly like predicted. Let me go back to the data and let me see what's happening with the rate cut probabilities, because that's the most important stuff. Still the same. So let's see how that's going to let's see how this is going to look like in half an hour from here or something, because it will be changing also. What the fuck is happening? Yeah, brother, big dump. And this is exactly why this wick is exactly why you don't want to be trading close to US economic data. Why so much dump if it's expected? Does this mean no rate cuts then? I hate the Kamal. No, it doesn't mean no rate cuts. We are still getting rate cuts. Just look at the probabilities. Basically, the market was expecting this data to come in lower because the PPI also did come in lower. But yeah, like stated also earlier in the video, the economic data has been quite off lately. So it's basically not predictable. Yeah, big wick. Big wick. Let me also get a look, or I will do it on the screen, at the economic calendar, so we can see what the data is exactly looking like. Okay, let's see. Inflation rate 0.4. Oh, the month-over-month is actually did came out higher than expected. I think so. Forecast 0, yeah. Well, it's coming out a little bit. Oh, it came out 1% higher than expected with 2.8, right? 2.8 versus 2.9, and let me check core inflation rate 3.3. Yeah, it's actually it's basically just like expected. It's not a lot to worry about, I think. It's funny how bearish news is bearish, but neutral is also bearish. Low bullish news is, yeah, it's true. And the US initial jobless claims also did came out. And the jobless claims are once again higher than expected. Here the initial jobless claims higher than expected. So the US labor market is weakening. So actually, I do think the market is still looking quite well. So please don't panic about this. I don't think we should be panicking about this. US labor market is still looking weak. Inflation is not that high. I think we are still looking quite good. And now we can also dive into some charts, because we have seen the news and the market reaction. We are still dumping actually for Bitcoin also. Let's see what the rate cut probabilities are doing. Oh shit. FOMC Fed watch. Let's see. 6 days until the FOMC meeting, guys. I will also be live streaming that, so also make sure to join that live stream, because that's going to be a super important one. Yeah, basically not a lot is changing here, so I don't really understand the reaction of the market. I think this dump is going to be short-lived. I honestly want to see everything come back down so I can buy more. Yeah, maybe. Of course, a lot of people are not going to like this, but I also do still have these limit orders open for Ethereum, so I would not even mind Ethereum coming back a little bit to open more trades. And that should also be your stance in the market, I think. Lol, another sweep of the lows, the never-ending cycle. Maybe. I don't think this is going to be a lasting dump, actually. I don't think this is going to be a lasting dump. We are now bouncing a little bit also. I do think we will be bouncing back to the previous levels here eventually. Let's also see where Bitcoin is trading. Okay, Bitcoin still confirmed this breakout, guys. So maybe Bitcoin could be coming back to this to this previous resistance and retest it as support, and then seeing a nice bounce, for example. That would be nice. But yeah, Bitcoin did already break the most important resistance level, guys. So also keep that in mind. This is the most important stuff. And Bitcoin still looking good. It's a very small dump actually. But if you're looking at the 5-minute time frame, of course, it's going to be a big one. Look, nice recovery. That's why I'm saying it's just an overreaction, I think, for the markets. Okay, guys, also drop your question in the chat now, because we've seen the data coming out, the market reaction. If you do want to see some TA or just have some questions or something, let's talk about it. A lot of viewers actually, so that's amazing. A lot of new viewers, I do think so. So very nice to see you guys here. Also, let's look if there's new news coming out. Poland, Netherlands, UK sent air defense support. Yeah, the US core inflation rate remains at 3.1%. Like say the jobless claims coming out bullish. Jobless claims coming out bullish, so that's amazing. A very big difference for the jobless claims, guys. The US labor market is not looking very good again. US CPI data comes in as expected. Appreciate you bringing the energy. Some streamers put me to sleep, lol. I'm always to try to bring the energy. We're running crypto, so we have to. Often when US markets open, we dump further. True, we have been dumping further lately since US market opens. Once the US market did open. When's the CPI data coming out? CPI data just dropped actually. you are a little bit too late. And I do think if you take a look at the market, the same. So you still long on other assets? Currently, I only have my Ethereum trading position open. I also hold a lot of Ethereum on spot. Solana is super strong. Your thoughts? Let me dive into the Solana chart actually. Bitcoin's turning green, guys. The candle's turning green once again. Look, Bitcoin pumping higher. So this was a large overreaction from the market, I do think. Let's take a look into Solana. I saw some questions about it. Let's open a new chart for Solana. Because yeah, Solana has been looking quite strong. That's true. But yeah, me personally, I do like Ethereum just more than Solana. I thought it was coming out 4:30 p.m. USA time. No, 8:30 p.m. USA time. And then depending on your time zone, of course, a different timing. Solana also actually a nice wick. I always do like to look at somewhat of the bigger time frames, guys. That's the way I trade and the way I look into charts. What is the market cap? Coinbase, Solana versus Bitcoin is also not the one I want. Where is it? Solana US dollar. That's the one we need. XRP, please, your thoughts. Just give me a second. We will dive into it. Yeah, here we have the Solana chart. Yeah, Solana is actually looking for the all-time highs again, I think. Because Solana did take out this high here. You can also see the resistance there of that previous high. So it did take out that high, and it seems like it's now going to be attacking the all-time highs. And I do think this is going to be another important level, because you can see the wick here also for Solana. So this is going to be a major supply zone here. So keep that in mind. I do think this could be a area to be taking some profits before eventually heading higher. Of course, I do think Solana could be making new all-time highs eventually, but this is a huge supply zone. So just keep that in mind, and you can see it because of the wicks there easily. XRP. Let's take a look into XRP. Where it is. XRP. Actually, I don't look a lot at XRP myself. I don't even see a chart. Ripple. Yeah, I always do find the XRP chart a little bit interesting. Interesting. It's breaking out. XRP here, so that's great. But yeah, like most altcoins, it's breaking out. I do think a lot of altcoins are looking quite good. Of course, the last time when you saw somewhat of an XRP breakout, we saw a big push higher. I do think the market is preparing for that once again. So I also do think XRP from here could be a good trade because of the breakout eventually. XRP is also looking quite good here. Sui. Someone is knocking on my door. Just 1 second. 1 second, please, guys. Guys, I'm so sorry. 1 second, I have to do a payment real quick because somebody is on the door. 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, I'm back. So sorry. A CPR pizza delivery. No, it was not a pizza actually. It would be nice if it was a pizza. But back to the Solana chart here. We did chart Solana. We were talking about Sui actually. Not the market cap, just Sui on Coinbase here. Yeah, Sui, like most altcoin charts are looking the same, also on the bigger time frames. Like Solana also, of Sui also here. Seeing somewhat of a nice breakout, I think. Breaking the downtrend. Most altcoins are breaking out of the downtrend now. So yeah, for Sui, the same is going to be in. I do think this is going to be a bullish phase for the market. So I do think it could be quite wise to be longing some altcoins like Sui, Solana. Solana also did look quite good. I do think Sui and XRP are looking a little bit better because the breakout is just getting started, and Solana is more of a front running the move to the upside, I think. So it rose from last reading of two, so it's bad, right? Because no, it did came in like expected. Yeah, it came in like expected, the CPI. The CPI was 2.9 exactly. Crash also. Oof. That chart does not look quite nice. I did actually hold some grass earlier before, but I sold most of my holdings earlier. It did come down by a lot, because I do know I sold most of my grass at this high actually. I've been accumulating here. There was a nice accumulation zone there. But now, yeah, I don't know, man. Grass seems a little bit dead to me, to be fair. Of course, it could be trending higher, but I don't want my altcoin chart to look like this, to be fair, in this stage of the market. Also, let's look into some news. 25 BPS rate cut alt surged to 88% on bullish market after CPI release. Okay, so the rate cut probabilities for 25 BPS are rising on poly market, so that's bullish. 50 BPS rate cut dropped to 13% from 90% before the CPI print. Okay, that's maybe also why the markets did dump. Ethereum pushing to the 4,450 resistance. Let me check. It's pushing higher, yeah. Market now expects 3 consecutive rate cuts in 2025. That's quite bullish. That is quite bullish. Yeah, not a lot of new stuff happening. Not a lot of new stuff coming out. So also drop your question in the chat. If there are more altcoins, I'm also seeing virus, but I do think it's like a very low cap, and I can't really say too much wise things about such a low cap coin, to be fair. I only want to TA on some bigger coins, because I also don't want to basically shill low cap coins in the stream. This long waiting with sideways and choppy movements is really frustrating me, to be honest. Why can't we just bloody start altcoin season? Yeah, but once you start thinking like that, normally then altcoin season is actually getting very close. When people are getting truly frustrated and it seems like the altcoin season is not coming anymore, that's probably going to be the moment where the true altcoin season is going to kick off. So also keep that in mind, because that's probably how it is going to be once again. And I do think it's actually very close, because Q4, yeah, I can show some charts of it. I do think, for example, the others dominance, like this. Like this, and then I think it's called halving profits. Bitcoin halving cycle profits. Yep. I will show you guys something. Look. I will just adjust this a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, now it's completely gone. DCA on. Karat. Yeah, it's also a very low cap coin, I think, so I won't be doing that. The US government seems to be really fucking with alphas. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I've been holding for more than 1 year in alts. Yeah, I know, brother. It's tough. It's tough out here. But yeah, look at the others' dominance, guys. Look at the others' dominance. That ending stage of the cycle, like here also this phase, here this phase, and now we haven't seen that yet. But I do still think it would make so much sense if we are going to see one more move for altcoins. It would make so much sense, actually. It would make so much sense. Aerodrome. I will be doing Chronos. I think that's fine. Let's look. Yeah, Kronos saw, of course, that big pump because of the Trump news coming out, I think, accumulating the Ethereum treasury of the Kronos treasury company, news about that coming out. So it's not a really organic chart or something. That's also why it's quite hard to predict. But yeah, basically, I don't think Kronos is much about TA currently. I do think Kronos is more about the news you're going to see about this project, and if Trump's company is going to be accumulating Kronos like they stated with the Ethereum or with the treasury But yeah, I can't really do some useful TA on this. I think maybe on the daily. The daily. Yeah, interesting. There's also not a lot of price action, right? So of course you have. It seems like you have some levels. Like if you think Kronos is going to move higher, you have some important levels like here, and also here. Those highs are probably going to be moments where people will be cashing out. So if Kronos is going to move high, those are your next big levels. Of course, now here you have a new supply zone. So once you're going to see a new move higher, you will probably see a bounce lower from here, then eventually moving higher. But yeah, I don't know. I also don't know everything about what's happening with Kronos. So if some bullish news is going to come out, maybe it could change quite quickly also. Link. Yeah, the link chart is probably one of my favorite charts because I will show you guys something. Link is actually looking very good, I think, because you should compare it with, for example, Ethereum. Here Ethereum. Just look at this. Also on the weekly. Boom, boom, boom. I think actually the link and the Ethereum structure are looking very much alike. So Ethereum did of course see the breakout once it broke basically out of this somewhat of an, I think it's more of an ascending triangle. And Link now, on the other hand, it depends of course on how you're going to draw it, but Link is also seeing somewhat of a similar setup. I think Link could be a big trade if we are going to see this line breaking here. And we saw the rejection also from there. But this is going to be a huge level for Link, I personally think. Just ETH is just ahead at the moment than Link. Yeah, but that's also going to be logical. That's quite logical. That ETH is going to be ahead of Link. It should be like that. I was just about to say it's similar to ETH. Yeah, it actually is. So this is going to be an important level, I personally think. Open Ledger. I have seen some things about the project. I do know the people, some people behind it, and I do think there are great people behind it. So it could be a nice one, but I did not really look into the chart itself. We can do so now if it's on TradingView here. They had quite a successful launch, I do think. But of course, it's also quite overpriced just after the launch probably. So maybe you should be buying in a little bit later when it will come down also. Yeah, let's look at the hourly because this is such a young coin. Oh, it's coming down actually now. It had quite a successful launch. I do think it could be a nice accumulation if we're coming back lower, but I would love to do more research about the project before I could be possibly accumulating. But I do know there are some great people behind it, so maybe this could be a nice play. And usually, I don't know if there was for example, a lot of supply airdropped or stuff like that. Always after launch, you do see people taking profits and charts like this moving lower. Just like we, for example, also saw with World Liberty Financial. World Liberty Financial is one of the worst cases, actually. Coming down so heavily after the launch. Insane. Cowan is good, very mathematical analysis. Yeah, Cowan is also one of my favorites. I do like him a lot. I don't know if you watch Benjamin Cowan, but he's saying no altcoin season until we hit 0.25 on a total 3 USDT BTC. Yeah, could be. We could also still see a bleed before altcoin season starts. But it also depends on what your expectation of the altcoin season is going to be. It's not going to be an altcoin season like 2021 and 2017. I personally think it will be much more selective. And like, for example, if you look at Hype, Ethena, Ondo, a lot of altcoins are pumping from the lows, guys. So also keep that in mind. It may not feel like a true altcoin season yet or a full-blown altcoin season, but also take a look into, for example, the altcoin season index. So the performance from altcoins versus Bitcoin, it's actually in altcoin season territory now. So let me check if I can open the chart. It's lagging a little bit, but just wait for it. He got right with the ETH bottom in BTC, saying ETH heading back home. Yeah, true. ETH did definitely head back home. Yeah, look at this. Altcoin season index at 78 now. So it's basically an altcoin season, guys. And it might not feel like it, but there are some altcoins outperforming Bitcoin. So also, you should also be looking into pivoting. If you have some very bad performing altcoins, maybe you should be pivoting into other altcoins. Yet it says it's at 65. Let's also head back to the news. Look if something happened. No, not too much happening. Lagarde is talking, ECB's president. August CPI inflation rises to 2.9% in line with expectations. Core CPI rises to 3.1% in line with expectations. CPI inflation is now at the highest level since 2025. We continue to see a 25 BPS rate cut next week. Yeah, I do think this is a perfect summary of how it's currently looking like. I do also think we are going to see a 25 BPS rate cut. Yeah, I believe alt season will be probably the Coinbase coins, for example, Sai, Sui, all those. Yeah, Sai, Sui, for example, are very strong performing ones. But yeah, there are also a lot of altcoins that are not going to perform quite well, I do think, in the final stage of the cycle. It's much more selective and there are much more altcoins. So of course, out of the top 100, a lot of altcoins will be performing extremely well. But there are so much more altcoins in the previous cycles also. So it's impossible for all altcoins to pump because there's not going to be so much liquidity entering the markets. Of course, possible rate cuts will be bringing in liquidity, but also what people need to understand, rate cuts, usually the liquidity from rate cuts to hit the market, it will take some time to truly see that. Hopefully CAS will get a run again. I hope for you too if you're holding a lot. Thank you so much, Fabio. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Now see you in the next one. Also, hopefully. But yeah, market bouncing back up, now moving back down. So not very amazing. Fed 25 point. Yeah, on poly market the probability is rising actually. Rotation of wheels, Bitcoin will be huge this time, given Bitcoin is over 1 trillion at the moment. Yeah, I think you mean the rotation from Bitcoin into Ethereum. True, and we have seen that, guys. I don't know if you guys remember, but not too long ago we saw a whale accumulating a lot of Ethereum, a Satoshi era whale, basically accumulating a lot of Ethereum actually, and selling his Bitcoin holdings for it. So that was quite interesting. Maybe we could be seeing that more later in the cycle. He was accumulating billions worth of Bitcoin, worth of Ethereum with his Bitcoin basically. When is the next announcement? The next announcement is going to be the FOMC meeting, I think. Let's dive into the US economic calendar to see what we have coming up. Today we saw the most important data with the jobless claims and also the inflation rate. We don't have a lot coming out on Monday. Also not on Friday. Maybe the Michigan consumer sentiment could be saying something, but not too much for crypto, I think. Tuesday, also not a lot there, I think. Wednesday, we have the Federal Reserve interest decision. So I will be live streaming that on Wednesday. That's going to be a super, super, super important FOMC meeting, because we're probably going to see the 25 BPS rate cut. Thursday, more initial jobless claims. Jobless claims for a weekly average. Continuing jobless claims is also an important one. But then it's after the FOMC meeting. So after Wednesday, it will take a long time before we see the next decision from the Federal Reserve. So then it won't be doing as much with the market as it's currently doing, basically. How do you think about Polkadot? I personally think Polkadot is a bit of a dead project, personally. Maybe you have more conviction. I know if you're holding a lot, but I do think, Polkadot is, if you also look at the chart, is not looking quite well. Is it dead in your opinion, or is there a chance for a comeback? Yeah, I think it's dead, man, to be fair. Polkadot. Of course, there could always be a comeback, but I don't like how the chart's looking like, to be fair, for myself. And also, if you look into some of the history, how much money they have been spending on marketing without any result, I don't really like the project, to be fair. WLD, WorldCoin, dumping because it had pumped so hard. People talking about taking profits. Yeah, of course. Yeah, WorldCoin did pump really hard. So now I do think it's quite logical to see it coming down a little bit. So that's been the trend in the 3 prior cycles. What has been the trend? Oh, of course, rotation from Bitcoin to Ethereum and altcoins. Yeah, of course. Of course. So yeah, basically only next Wednesday, the next FOMC meeting. That's an answer on your question. Yeah, not happening a lot now, basically. Bitcoin still above this important level here. But not doing a lot, actually. Ethereum, coming down again now. We are coming down again. What do you think of Playa 3 bull games? I do think it's a very low cap one, so I don't want to be covering it, to be fair. I will only cover like top 100, top 200 coins. I think it's better to also protect other people in the stream a bit, you know. Ethereum coming back down. Bitcoin also coming back down. Yeah, not looking quite well. Rate cut decision is still exactly the same, I think. Yep. Not much happening there, actually. Not much happening there. Bitcoin double top. What do we think about Radium? And would it be a possible high based on TA? Oh, it's actually a very interesting one. I do think the Solana ecosystem is going to perform quite well also in the next of the cycle. So Radium is going to be one of your biggest bets on that, basically. What do you think about what would be a possible high based on TA for this cycle? Possible high is hard to predict because it will be going along with Solana, I do think. So maybe it would be a wise idea if you're going to overlay the chart with Solana, for example. Radium here. Let's take a look into the logarithmic. I think we should compare it with Solana. Yeah, Bitcoin might retest the HNS. I'm thinking the same. Yeah, look, it's actually quite an interesting one. Yeah, you just see Radium moving with Solana. I do think Radium is maybe lagging behind a little bit here. So it could be quite a nice opportunity maybe. And for Radium to make new all-time highs, you also want to see Solana breaking out. And like stated earlier, we have like a huge supply zone for Solana laying about here. So yeah, that's going to be an important one also for Radium. and everything in the ecosystem. If Solana is going to break out there, Ethereum will follow, and will follow more exponentially, I think. But that most of the times happens when Solana is going to make new highs and new all-time highs also. I don't think Ethereum starts front-running Solana eventually. Bitcoin might retest that HNS pattern. Let's go back to that one, because I'm thinking the same. Where do I have that chart again? Did I close the chart? I will just open it once again here. Bitcoin. Boom, boom, boom. No problem, no problem. Just drop some more comments so we can basically research a bit together. Bitcoin now. Let's look at the 4-hourly. It's really disappointing actually, the data, but yeah, really disappointing. Boom, boom, boom. And let's say it's about this line, I think, or maybe this. Yeah, Bitcoin could be in for the retest here of the HNS. Could you possibly check E to break? Yeah, of course. Let's take Ethereum here. Let's look on the daily first. Just look at the price action, guys. It's so undecisive. Look at this. It's insane. Just look at the wicks. Just look at the candles. It's awful. It's so boring actually. But okay, it is coiling higher a little bit. So let's stay positive. Kijk, look with Ethereum. The thing is, we have seen the breakout. We've seen breaking the downtrend here, and that is actually still continuing. So that's looking quite nice. I do think Ethereum is still looking well. And yeah, the breakout target is of course going to be your next high. So yeah, the chances are there that Ethereum will be breaking that 4,470 level. But probably the most important thing for Ethereum is going to be the liquidation heat map, if you're talking about such specific levels. Yeah, does the link also look like that? Yeah, it could be. It's just following ETH. It's following ETH for now. Later in the cycle, altcoins could also decouple from ETH more and more. Once more and more liquidity is going to be flooding in. Yeah, we have some liquidity there. Maybe just look at the 1 daily. The thing with Ethereum, which is causing a little bit of trouble, is that we have a lot of downside liquidity stacking up now and not a lot of short liquidity. So that is not what I do want to see actually. So yeah, if this is not going to change quickly, I do think Ethereum could also be grabbing this liquidity. Keep that in mind, because here's actually not that much liquidity left. And if Ethereum is not moving higher, then it also means there's not a lot of buy pressure probably. So maybe Ethereum could be coming down a little bit to grab the downside liquidity and then be moving up. I don't know. Later in September, it would make sense with some seasonality. Yeah, a lot of downside liquidity actually. If you just realistically look into the liquidation heat map now, maybe on the bigger time frame, I don't know. But this is just like realistically, guys. Yeah, also a lot at the 4,200. Yeah, it's obvious. More liquidity stacking up at the downside now. I do think we could be grabbing it actually. Doesn't have to happen, guys, but be careful. And I do think maybe I will also make a change on my limit orders for Ethereum if I'm going to see it happening, because my first limit order is going to be the 4K level. But I do want to be accumulating earlier, I think. But yeah, let's see about that. I do still have those limit orders open. My position is still in a profit here, but I do think it will be coming back to entry, maybe even the negative. But I don't mind it, because I do want to hold this position for the last phase of the cycle, and then I will be printing on this position, I do think. And like stated, guys, just join that VIP group if you're getting interested in that. I will here the link in the description on this live stream. You can just check it out if you do want to join the Telegram channel. Okay, rate cut probability is still the same probably. Yep, not much happening here. Let's see if we're getting some news coming out here. Yeah, not much new stuff coming out, basically. For us, at least, praying the cycle extends to at least January 2026. Yeah, definitely. It could be for altcoins, maybe. It would make sense for altcoins to rally a little bit longer. I do think Bitcoin could be topping out October, maybe even already October, November, something like that. Because I do still believe in the 4-year cycle until proven otherwise. I do think most of the watchers do know that by now. But for altcoins, usually altcoins do top out the last. So you're going to see Bitcoin topping out. Eventually, maybe Ethereum topping out just before December or in December. And then altcoins could also move in January 2026. Kind of like they did in 2017, January 2018. Yeah, exactly. Altcoins do top out the loss, so it could make a lot of sense actually for something like that to happen. A rate cut probability is still the same probably. Yep. Yeah, Bitcoin on its way to retest the HNS pattern, I think. But actually, I do think a retest here could be quite bullish. But you don't want to lose this level. That's going to be a problem. Let's retest it and then seeing a move higher. And this is still going to be your next import level for Bitcoin. If you notice the 4-year cycle, the pen has been 2013 November top, 2025 December top. I don't know if you're talking on Bitcoin or on Ethereum. I don't think Bitcoin will be topping out December. I think it will be topping out earlier. Because I do still believe in the 4-year cycle. I'm not saying it could be different this time. I'm not saying that. But yeah. Bitcoin. Oh, you were talking about Bitcoin. Yeah. But I do think it will be topping out earlier than December based on the 4-year cycle. How long will you keep the long on ETH? As long as I have to, basically. The funding rates are close to negative, so I'm not paying a lot to keep this long order open. So I will keep it open until we basically hit my bull case target, I think. I will be taking profits on the way up, and it also depends if we are going to fill my limit orders. But let's see if I can find... I have this chart in like my other trading view, but I still have to fix it. Let's see if I can find it for you. Here I have it. Look, this is the Ethereum chart I made for myself. Once we were trading at this ultimate lows, this reaccumulation phase. At this ultimate lows, I was starting to accumulate a lot of Ethereum actually. Unfortunately, I also opened a trading position there. And unfortunately, I did close it in a profit in this consolidation phase. And I should have held it. But I made a profit, and that's going to be the most important thing. But yeah, we did hit my conservative case, that $4,000 level. There I did sold a lot of my spot holdings. Because yeah, that was my target. And now everybody's talking very, very positively about ETH. But believe me, at those lows, that was not the case. We did break that $4,000 level, conservative target. I did take profits, and I do think now the bull case target is going to be next based on the Fibonacci levels on the longer term time frame. So that bull case is actually laying above $6,000. I do definitely think this is going to happen, but maybe it depends on how the market is looking like at that exact moment. I will, for example, be taking some profit at this 1.6.8 Fibonacci level also. It's going to depend. It is going to depend a bit. So yeah, that's basically how long I will keep my Ethereum trade open. I don't have like a super specific profit target yet, but I'm a swing trader, so I just want to ride the next big move higher for Ethereum actually. And yeah, for Ethereum it would also make a lot of sense to be seeing that final move quickly, because I showed this chart of Ethereum. I showed a chart I will just grab now, just with altcoins, but I can also show it with Ethereum. But then I can show something interesting. Look, like first of all, we did not even break above the previous all-time high yet. And yeah, it's very normal. I do think a lot of people do forget that, to at the break of the previous all-time high to see this choppy price action before eventually that spike higher. It's also going to depend on when retail interest is really going to hit the market, of course. But this price action is just very normal actually. We also saw it dipping below. When do we think we will see alt season and the cycle top? Cycle top for Bitcoin, I think about October and November. Alt season, I do also think basically the same months. Once Bitcoin is going to top out, we will see more and more money flow into ETH. And then from ETH, more money is going to flow into altcoins, first large caps and small caps. So I think the altcoins could be happening in like the last 2-3 months of the year. So it could basically be starting in the next few days because we don't have a lot of time left. And I do think now in September we are seeing the first signs, because like I stated earlier, the altcoin season index is now at 78. So altcoins are actually outperforming Bitcoin now. And that is only something you see when Bitcoin is just taking a little bit of a breather also. So yeah, I will just grab myself some water. Just a moment. Okay, I'm back. Just grab some water. We'll be coming back to the chat in a minute. Okay, I'm back. I'm fully back. I just grabbed some water. I also dropped some altcoins, guys, in the chat. It's interesting to see the altcoin index is where it was last December, though. Yeah, true. I think that period, yeah. And altcoins were at much higher levels, actually. That's true. But it's also because I think, of course, Ethereum has been massively outperforming Bitcoin this time also. That has not always been the case. And yeah, I do think large caps and small caps are... The first large caps are showing some positive price action now, like Hyperliquid, Tina, Sui. There are a few ones, actually, so you could have been making some nice money on that. But just like the small caps are not performing that well yet. Also, let's check on the Ethereum trade. How is it doing? No, not so amazing. Not so amazing. Also, let's check on the news. No new stuff yet. Bitcoin, is it coming down to the HNS? No, it's actually bouncing a bit now. Bitcoin again. It's actually bouncing a bit up. But yeah, we could be retesting this HNS. Look at the price action, this could be a possible scenario. Do you actually come? Yeah, I come from the Netherlands. Yeah, actually, I do think you can hear that based on my accent. But yeah, I do come from the Netherlands actually. Okay, let's dive back into the charts. Let's see what Ethereum is doing now. Hidden bullish divergence perfectly playing out. Amazing. Yeah, this is also like why the altcoin index is moving higher. It's others versus ETH. It's actually quite an interesting chart. I also discussed it in my daily update videos. It's an interesting one because basically after Ethereum made the new all-time high, now it's bouncing back to the top side. That's quite interesting actually. That's also why the altcoin index is heading higher now. Because others are starting to outperform Ethereum and of course also Bitcoin. And others versus Bitcoin is of course showing this bullish crossover. And when we saw this bullish crossover in 2021, let's go back to that moment. We saw of course a major continuation also. So yeah, if this could be happening again, we are probably going to print a lot of money. I hear it a little bit, but you do very fine. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I will keep improving. Also with the live streams. Can I buy ETH now and hold till December? Of course you can. Well, I think you're talking about spot. It does depend a little bit on how much money you want to make and what your goals are in this market. Because Ethereum is probably not going to do like a 3 to 4x from here, like maybe a 2x, but that would be absolutely insane. But not probably not more than that. So if you're looking to, for example, 1.5x your money, it could be a great investment. If you're just trying to protect it against the inflation, if you just want to own assets, it's going to be interesting. If you're, for example, playing with some smaller capital, which of course is very normal, then you could maybe be looking into some altcoins if you do want to accumulate on spot, if you do want to make a higher return. Or a very low leverage trade, of course, could also be the case. It will dump after the US market opens. Actually, let me check. I'm in a different time zone right now. Let me check when is the US market going to open. When is the US market going to open? Great crypto content, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, brother. Are you in small caps tokens? I'm invested in the 40 million market cap layer 1 now. I think it will do well in the coming 2-3 months. No, currently I'm not invested in very small cap tokens, to be fair. I think it opens in 5 minutes. Okay. Yeah, it's true. I think, let me check. During Easter time, I'm in a different time zone, so sometimes I have a little bit of trouble with basically understanding what's going to happen when. Also with the US economic data, I always have to look when it's going to happen. When do I need to schedule my live stream? 6:30. Or it could take 1 more hour. Mr. Crypto, are we going to pump with the US Open? Brother, I hope so. But we have been dumping with, I think, the latest US Opens. If I'm not wrong. If I'm not mistaken. I will go also to the smaller time frames to see the pump or dump we are going to get because the US Open. Just 1 sec. Um, 5 minutes. Also welcome, Mr. Crypto, by the way. We have been dumping into support now, so we can see a bounce, okay. Yeah, Mr. Crypto is one of my favorite quants, so let's hope he is right. We are bouncing a little bit though. And I think the US market is going to open in 4 minutes from now. Or is it going to be 1 hour later? I just have some troubles always with the time zones when I'm away. Mr. Crypto is going to open in 5 minutes. You know it better than me, I think. I think it will take like 1 more hour, right? Before the US market opens. 6:30 for me, I think. Or is it 15? Let's see. Oh, yes, in 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, I believe you. It should be, right? Yes, in 3 minutes. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Let's see if the US market open is going to bring some volatility. Let's hope some volatility to the upside, because we have seen this quite awful dump to the downside because of the CPI data. No, 3 minutes. Yes. 3 minutes. Okay, guys. I see. We are hitting the support right now. No way we pump. Now you're talking about this support, I think. Two minutes. Yeah, not much else happening anymore. Not much else. Some stuff about Charlie Kirk. Oh, we may pump. I'm sorry. Okay. Let's hope we do. 5 minute chart. Let's see how the US market opening is going to look like. So you're only trading Bitcoin and ETH, or like what's your trading strategy in trading? Yeah, if I'm trading, I'm mostly trading Bitcoin and Ethereum only. I've not taken a lot of altcoin trades yet. But yeah, maybe I will be doing so. Once my Ethereum trade is going to perform even better, I can be rotating some of those profits into more altcoin trades. There will be a lot of opportunities, I think. I'm not a trader, but I learn a lot from your channel. If I can ask, where do you see Bitcoin price in the bear market? Thank you. First of all, thank you so much. Second of all, where do I see Bitcoin in the bear market? Yeah, it's of course the question. It's also quite a hard question. Where do I see Bitcoin in the bear market? First of all, you have of course the Michael Saylor. Okay, I'm back online. Maybe it's a little bit higher now, but of course that's an important level, somewhere around 70k, because then you will see a lot of thought about micro strategy being liquidated, about Michael Saylor being liquidated. Yeah, maybe even back to the 50k levels, because I think there we have some moving average lines laying. Oh, we are pumping, really? But yeah, it's so hard to predict what the bear market bottom is going to be. But we will know. We will know it, just like we saw with ETH on those ultimate lows, when the sentiment is truly getting very bad, when there's a lot of fear in the market, we will know when the bear market bottom is going to hit. And we will be DCAing into Bitcoin also on the channel. So just make sure to subscribe also. Because also in the next bear market, when a lot of people are going to lose some interest. Okay, have a good rest of your stream. TradePA ordered a few cookies. Okay, brother. Okay, brother. Enjoy your cookies. Your microphone is cutting off a bit for me. Yeah, I think it's about connectivity issues, to be fair, because I'm also getting some notifications about it. Cutting off a bit for me. Yeah, is also the case for others? I think it are connectivity issues maybe, because for me the mic seems to be working perfectly fine, but maybe there are some problems also. Yeah, Bitcoin is pumping. Bitcoin seeing a nice bounce. The stream cut off for like a couple of secs. Yeah, those were connectivity issues actually. I just had some, unfortunately, but now I'm completely back, I think. Bitcoin coming back up slowly. I hear you as well. Okay, perfect. It wasn't that case before, only just now. Oh, okay. Then it's probably about connectivity. But yeah, enjoy your cookies, man. First of all, I hope they will taste delicious. Solana is pumping, really? Let me check. Is that really the case? Oh, Solana, yeah, it's true. Solana is actually performing quite nice here. Wait. ETH also pumping back up now. Do you only do trading for a living? I'm doing a few different things. Of course, I create content within crypto, so you will also make money with that. And I do some trading, but all of my income is coming from crypto. Also just long-term investments, unlike, for example, Ethereum we have been talking about. So a few different things within crypto. In crypto you can make money with like a lot of different things, different ways, different income streams basically. So yeah, I'm all in crypto now. Luckily I'm blessed I can do so. Do you like Sui or Sol better in this cycle? It's kind of a trick question. I do like Sol better, but I do think Sui could see more gains because it's a lower market cap token. I do like them both a lot, but it depends. I do think Sui will see more gains. And Solana is a better token. But Solana did see like a crazy gain this cycle, so keep that in mind. Congrats, happy for you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How about you guys? Do you guys also full-time in crypto or just doing it on the side? Trading on the side or just watching streams on the side? Just watching the markets? Because I think it's an amazing skill to have. Just being able to understand the markets, just being able to understand what's going on in the world. And you will know if you have your eyes on the market. Happy for you that you can be independent, really. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's amazing. It hasn't always been like this. I had, of course, also, first of all, before I started making some money with crypto, of course, I just had a job. I'd been going to school. But eventually, if you just keep putting the work in, just keep making the hours, you can make a full-time income with crypto. Definitely. All in abstract. It's also an interesting project, actually. We are bouncing back up with the US market open now, by the way. That's nice. Now I'm full-time in crypto, wanted to cash out most of my bags in April, May, but the tariff drama slapped me. Yeah, that did slap a lot of people, the tariff drama. But I hope you also have been accumulating some maybe during the tariffs. I have been doing so because there I actually did make my biggest Ethereum buys. Now always remember, it's not something bad to also be in stables for quite a bit, guys, because you do want to capitalize the biggest opportunities like I did on tariffs, and there was for a very big percentage of my portfolio in stables, and that is why I also was able to inject a lot of liquidity in the markets basically. So keep that in mind also. I'm doing it on the side, so you quit your job. What was your regular job before you're fully concentrated on crypto? Customer service, man, basically. Just customer service in my hometown. I had been working there for like 1-2 years. And of course, also before that, I had a lot of jobs. But that was like my last job I had. Learning from you and guys like you, I will try to be independent now till the end of the year. We'll see how it goes. If you are just going to put the work in, you will definitely get there and you will be independent eventually. If that's truly what you want and you are going to put the hours in it, to truly grind, then you are going to make it. That's the case in crypto. If you truly put in the hard work in crypto, everybody can make it. It's the harsh truth, but not a lot of people actually do want to do that. Bull markets make millionaires while bear markets make billionaires. It's true. It's completely true. Yeah, now I'm doing fine again, but can't wait to sell and rebuy low again. Lol. Yeah, you have seen it now. You've seen it. You've seen with the terrorists that it was actually one of the best opportunities in a very long time, because what we saw for Ethereum there was like insane. Still, if I'm looking at that Ethereum chart at the terrorists, it's just like I should have been buying so much more. Of course, that's always what you tell yourself after something like that. And now we are doing fine again. But yeah, just look at the chart. Let's look at, for example, the Ethereum all time. And just look at this. This was like the most obvious moment for me personally. When we basically did hit the 2017 all-time high, those levels, there I did buy a lot. Because I was like, if I can buy Ethereum for 2017 prices, then I'm definitely going to be buying, and it was quite an amazing choice. The last bear market, brutal, yeah, true, and the new bear market will also be brutal, guys. I think. Don't get fooled by people who are saying there is never going to be a bear market anymore. It's insane it even went that low. Yeah, it's insane. Now looking back, it's insane. But like at the moment of this low for Ethereum, so much thought about Ethereum. So much people were super bearish on Ethereum. Solana was performing better than Ethereum. Now it's the other way around. But yeah, it was actually still hard to buy at those levels because there was so much fear in the market. But actually, those are the moments where you do want to be accumulating. When the fear in the market is so high, it seems like it's going much and much lower. Those are levels where you do want to be buying. And of course, like stated, you could have been buying Ethereum for 2017 levels, on 2017 prices, 2017 levels. That's absolutely insane in my opinion, of course. And also like these bear market levels, yeah, it's insane. I see more and more people coming up with how the 4-year cycle is over and crypto will pump forever with institutional money. Now the top is getting closer, lol. Yeah, I can see where those people are coming from also with the argument about the institutional cycle and that the 4-year cycle is over. I do find a lot of the arguments also interesting. I do think a lot of the arguments could also be turning out correctly eventually about that 4-year cycle. More institutional money is flowing in, but yeah, is it going to be the case for your altcoins? Probably not. So, like maybe Bitcoin could decorrelate from the 4-year cycle, maybe. Ethereum maybe too, because there's also a lot of institutional accumulation there. But what about your altcoins? And let's be honest, most people are holding altcoins in crypto. So yeah, then once the bear market is going to hit and once less liquidity is going to hit the markets, so then you should be looking in towards, for example, the global liquidity, because there's also going to be a moment where the global liquidity is going to be heading down again. The economies worldwide will start shrinking even more. Less liquidity is entering the markets and less liquidity will be entering crypto. And then only the strongest coins are going to be surviving, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Maybe they could stay pushing high because of institutional inflow. I highly doubt it, but it could be the case. Thinking maybe the 4-year cycle, it's going to be different this time. But for your altcoins, there's still going to be a huge bear market. Don't get me wrong. I do still believe in the 4-year cycle, also for Bitcoin. I do still believe in that, until proven otherwise. So if I'm going to see that this cycle is going to continue for longer, and we are seeing no signals of a cycle top in Q4, maybe I will differ my stance, but I will believe in the 4-year cycle until proven otherwise. I will also be scaling out there. So don't get me wrong, but I was just trying to get more into the argument of the 4-year cycle is dead and we are going to pump much higher. For your altcoins, that's not going to be the case. And will we see a less severe bear market? maybe, but I think with crypto we always see like a lot of stuff happening. So we could also see some treasury companies falling, going bankrupt, for example. We still have some, maybe some black swan events ahead of us. So could this bull market be less severe? Probably, because over the years the volatility of Bitcoin, crypto, Ethereum does get lower and lower. So it will probably be a less severe bear market. But that's just normal because there's more adoption, there's less volatility. But yeah, we could definitely still see a new bear market. And this is also what the people were telling you in 2021. We are not going to see a bear market. We are just going to stay moving higher, higher and higher. And what happened, we saw a major bear market, and most of the people just got absolutely wrecked. So keep that in mind. Bitcoin is pumping. It is. It retested some of the support and is now moving back to the upside. Let me get Bitcoin on like the 5 minutes or something. Yeah, it's pumping back up. Amazing after the US market opening. That's called euphoria. Yep, it is. It is. It is, and I'm seeing a lot of people saying this, and a lot of people also saying people are not saying there's no euphoria in the market. But yeah, on the other hand, if people start saying stuff like that, maybe there's some euphoria. And we should also keep in mind that Bitcoin is trading at some insane prices, like we could not have been dreaming of in the bear market. Same for Ethereum. Just look back at the tariff situation like we talked about earlier. I could not have been dreaming of Ethereum trading at these prices now, so quickly in the cycle again, actually. You call Bitcoin up 0.3% pump. Yeah, you have to be happy with something. This channel is underrated. You should have 100k subscribers. Thank you so much, brother. Yeah, I will be hitting that in the future, I hope, and I think I can do it. Pumping on New York Open often leads to a dump after it. Does it? Okay. Will your VIP group be available to join in the bear market? Is it just primarily for traders? Thank you. Of course it will be available to join in the bear market. Because for the guys that don't know, I do have that VIP group where I'm sharing my own updates, and also Crypto Rover. You guys probably know him too. And 5 professional other traders are sharing updates daily and setups daily. In the bear market, we are probably just going to short more. And in the bear market, there's even more money to be make. Probably it's usually an even easier period to be trading. Definitely when you're shorting a lot of altcoins, for example. So yeah, there will be a lot of setups also in the bear market. So just join that group also. Make sure to join it. Let's hope the bottom is in and we can go back up. Yeah, let's hope so. But this is not a real pump, of course. No, it's no real pump, of course. It's true. I understand. Thank you so much. Your channel is super underrated. Thank you so much, guys, for all the nice words. And I'm also seeing every single live stream. I'm seeing more and more people joining. So yeah, that's amazing. I do think the live stream are very good. Very good for my channel. But guys, I think I will be wrapping it up for today. We have been live for almost 2 hours now. I would love to continue, but yeah, not that much is happening actually. So I think I will be wrapping it up for this week. Even I think I don't think I will be live streaming more this week. Maybe if you're going to see a huge market movement or something, I will be live. Also, if you see something in my update videos you do want me to be live streaming about, just let me know. I think tomorrow I will just also chill a little bit. And maybe back in the weekend we can see some weekend price action or something. Thanks for the stream, no problem. And guys, don't forget, I will be planning it in later today. But next week on Wednesday, I will be live streaming the FOMC meeting, guys. And the FOMC meeting, like out of all the live streams I did this week, these also 4 basically I think I did this week, because I did the PPI, the job revisions, and also the live jobs report, the PPI coming out, or the non-farm payrolls coming out, and now of course the CPI. The most important one is going to be the FOMC, guys. The FOMC meeting that's going to be next week on Wednesday. So you don't want to be missing out that. Make sure to join that one, because that's going to be the most important one. Thank you so much for your stream. Super underrated channel. Glad I found you. Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much. Can I ask, are Dutch people proud people? Yeah, they are. They are. Dutch people are proud people. Maybe sometimes a little bit overly negative, but Dutch people are normally quite proud people. But sometimes a little bit overly negative, in my opinion. Have a good time and drink some more water. I will be doing so. I will be ordering some food also, because I'm quite hungry now. And I will have an amazing evening probably. Thank you so much, guys, and I will see you guys in the next stream next week on Wednesday or earlier, and also in the next update video tomorrow morning. See you guys later. Ciao.